Hey guys, Nic Peterson here, talking more about mastery, expediting the process, becoming a top 1%er, and doing it in record time so you can do it over and over and over again and master many, many things. So we're talking about the price of remembering, because you do have to remember and hold mental models, advanced concepts, filters, right? So when information comes in, you can filter it and say, is this worth holding? Is this something I want to remember? Is this something I want to forget? Is this something that I want my brain to wrestle with in my diffuse time when I'm not actively learning? Because there's a lot of diffuse time, and I'm going to explain how to use that, right? So again, the price of remembering is forgetting. We have limited bandwidth. We have a lot of bandwidth, but it's still limited. And especially when we're taking in a lot at once. We have that hippocampus, which is a short-term memory storage site. And the stuff that is there is kind of like a USB. It could get written over until it's cleared out. And when it gets cleared out, it gets carried somewhere, a little bit more permanent storage, like a large hard drive, right? And that's your cortex. Not super important now. We'll talk about how that happens. But the point is, you're going to have to actively remember the things you need to remember and forget the things you need to forget. Fortunately, we are designed to do so. So in experiments, Matthew Walker is the king of sleep. He is the go-to guy when it comes to anything sleep-related. And through his research, he discovered that when told, hey, this is going to be on your test, but this isn't. Or remember this, forget this. After hours of being awake, they remembered things the same. They had the same memory of things they were supposed to forget that they did as things they were supposed to remember, right? So the signals had the same strength. After sleeping on it and going deep sleep, right, getting the appropriate amount and the appropriate kind of sleep, they discovered that the things marked, hey, remember this, and the things marked, hey, forget this, were drastically different. Okay? So during the sleep cycle, and we'll talk about sleep spindles and stuff that I really learned from Dr. Kashi and Dr. Walker. During the sleep cycle, the things that were tagged, remember this, the memories were strengthened, the neural pathways were strengthened. And the things that were marked forget this were actually actively forgotten. They actively weakened the neural pathways because of that signal to say this doesn't matter. And biology is going to opt for energy conservation. That's one of the key principles to understand. So if you say forget this, your body's going to try to forget it. It doesn't want to hold any more information than it has to. So that's ultimately one of the key strategies when you're going through things. Do I need to know this? Mark it yes. Do I need to know this? Mark it no. Right? You're just flagging because sleep is super important. We're going to talk about how to utilize sleep. This has made a huge, huge, huge difference for me, my productivity, my creativity, my problem-solving capacity, my ability to learn. But get in the habit of, yes, I need to remember this. No, I don't. Yes, I remember this. No, I don't. Yes, I remember this. No, I don't. Right? This is not just necessarily highlighting, because that kind of gives us the illusion of that we've already remembered it. But these are little tags that we can, mental tags in our head. Okay, I need to remember this. And repeat it in your own words to prove that you understand the concept you're trying to remember. I even repeat it using somebody else's story, because I know a lot of people, I make a lot of Facebook posts, and really what I'm doing is when I read it and then I repeat it and then I write a story to somebody else utilizing this concept that is telling my brain this is important. Okay, it's active in my life, right? I repeated it in the context of my life. It is important to other people. I wrote a post and got feedback. Maybe somebody signed up and made some money on one of my programs, right? And that's right there. That is me saying this is important. And then the rest, actively say, don't need this. And again, when you sleep, when you are exercising, when you're doing diffuse activities where your brain is relaxed and that little tiny scope through which you see the world broadens, it will actively forget the things that are taking up unnecessary bandwidth. So this is the equivalent of when you maybe when you first put cable in a city, right? It's you just put it everywhere, and over time you realize that this neighborhood and this neighborhood use it the most. Nobody out here uses it, and you can optimize the energy, right, by pruning back the people that aren't using it. Is, hey, we don't need this, we're not using this, and putting that to the people that are using it, right? It's the equivalent of that, just recognizing this is where we need to put the energy, and we can prune back here. And when you sleep, that's what happens, right? There's different stages of sleep, and again, we'll talk about really how to dial that in and make it effective and useful, because that's what it's all about. Is abstract theory is cool. The practical application, that's what we're concerned about. And the practical application in this case, remember that. What does it mean for me? What does it mean for people I know or care about or sell to or I'm trying to help? Okay, I need to remember that. That's the tag you're putting on that thought, on that concept. And then everything else is, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. And when you sleep, your brain will actively dump the stuff it doesn't need and actively move the stuff it does need to a more permanent, larger storage location where it can access it freely at later times. That's where recall comes from, right? Big difference between recognition. Like when you see something, oh yeah, I remember that, but you can't recall it out from the nethers, as Dr. Cashew would say. If you can recall it, you know it, right? And you strengthen that by tagging that this is something I need to remember, and everything else gets tagged as okay to forget. And if you remember the important concepts and principles, you may not memorize a whole bunch of facts, but the things you do remember will help you reason to make good decisions every time. You don't have to remember facts if you understand the concepts and principles, because you can reason to the facts. So, top secret, that is how you actively forget in order to remember. Hope you guys realize you just got hit with some really powerful and pragmatic stuff. Don't you think? I do. And if you agree, hit the thumbs up button below and like the video. Let me know in the comments what other videos you want to see, what you want me to expand upon, and what questions you have. And remember, all of this stuff is only as powerful as the actions you take in your execution, the practical applications you can derive from it. So let's see how quickly and effectively and efficiently you can master the things to come. You're going to get information here that's going to help you on your journey that you will not find anywhere else. So be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss one of these videos.